It's a great organization called Reporters Without Borders, and they are trying to protect journalists throughout the country and throughout the world, obviously. And at least recently they came up with a list of the 5 corporate enemies of the internet. Interesting. And here's who's on the list: Gamma, Trovicor, Hacking Team, Amisys, and Bluecoat. Now, these are organizations that oftentimes get private information online, and then they help the governments get that information and exploit it from time to time. And at least Hacking Team and Gamma have already been accused of capturing the passwords of journalists. So obviously this is a huge issue for Reporters Without Borders. But it turns out there's an even bigger issue. There's a new report out by Citizen Lab of the Munk School of Global Affairs at the University of Toronto. And they looked into specifically one of the organizations we just talked about, Gamma. Well, they have a program called Finspy. Well, what does Finspy do? Here's what it does. It is a surveillance tool that infects computers to capture screenshots, log keystrokes, record Skype conversations, and activate cameras and microphones. Now, if that doesn't scare the bejesus out of you, you're not paying attention. You got a camera on your computer, and you all have mics on your computer. I don't know if you know that, okay? They can record you, what you're doing in your living room, what you're doing in your office, if this gets onto your computer. And now Gamma is giving it to foreign governments, and what are they doing? Of course, they're using it to suppress dissidents. Now, Gamma says, I love this, that it's used mostly, quote, against pedophiles, terrorists, organized crime, kidnapping, and human trafficking. Well, that sounds so good, right? No. The new report says, in reality, it is regularly sold to countries where dissenting political activity and speech is criminalized. So they have sold it to places like Ethiopia, Vietnam, where, by the way, they use it against 14 bloggers, writers, and activists who are now in jail for opposing the government, and Bahrain, who also used it to crack down on activists in that country. In Ethiopia, they did this cute little trick where they had an opposing political figure's picture, and people would say, oh yes, I'm in favor of that. They download it, and all of a sudden Finspy is on your computer. Even if you didn't send an email, if you wrote something out, because it records the keystrokes, it still has it. You're having a Skype conversation with your family, it has it. You're not doing anything on your computer, it doesn't matter. The camera and the mic are on, it has it. One more quote from the study. Our findings highlight the increasing dissonance between Gamma's public claims that Finspy is used exclusively to track bad guys, and a growing body of evidence suggesting that the tool has and continues to be used against opposition groups and human rights activists. And you think the US government isn't interested in this? You think the Chinese government isn't interested in this? You think the Russian government isn't interested in this? You think they're not using it for their own purposes instead of tracking pedophiles and terrorists? That's the excuse they always give you. This is about as dangerous as it gets. We're fully in 1984. They know all of your accounts. In a previous story, we told you they can access all of your bank accounts. Now they can access all of your email, all of your internet searches, all of your conversations, not only online, but even in your own home and office. George Orwell was a genius, but we didn't listen to his warning, and we're smack dab right in the middle of 1984. And we're letting them do this to us day in and day out. We should be in full out political rebellion over this. This should be the most illegal thing there is in the country. And yet governments all across the world are already using it.
You have a camera up your nose.
Well, apparently we do.